Top 8 incredible jet maneuvers ever. If you have ever attended an air show, you certainly have the opportunity to witness pilots engaging in aerobatic maneuvers. The incredible exploits that they accomplish each year in the air are a demonstration of their technical expertise and endurance. When you go to these kinds of displays, you will see a wide variety of different types of aerobatic acrobatics. Lines that are horizontal and vertical, loops, rolls, spins, stall turns, and a great deal more are included in this category. These actions are blended by aerial performers in intricate sequences that are scripted. Extremely agile planes are capable of doing a significant number of these stunts. These remarkable maneuvers are made possible by force vectoring and the ratio of thrust to weight, both of which play an essential role. The Buzz would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to the 8 spectacular types of movements. If there are any flight maneuvers that you particularly enjoy, please share them with us in the comment box below. This is the Cuban 8 maneuver. The following is an example of an acrobatic maneuver that can be performed by an airplane. 3/4 of a normal loop, a half roll, 3/4 of another normal loop, and another half roll, followed by recovery from the dive to straight level flying. The pilot can fly at a horizontal loop without having to complete an outside loop if they place a half roll on each of the descending 45 degrees lines. It is believed that Len Povey, an American pilot who had previously served in the Cuban Air Force, was the mastermind behind the development of this particular maneuver. When he carried out this move in 1936 at the All-American Air Race meeting in Miami, he did so in a somewhat accidental manner. Among the maneuvers, this one is among the most difficult as it requires concentration to guarantee accuracy in terms of shape, airspeed, and altitude. What follows is the tail slide maneuver, which is as follows. In essence, this is nothing more than a Pupich's cobra that is leisurely moving through its paces. The pilot will perform a stunt in the same manner as he does in a cobra, but rather than immediately pitching forward to recover, he would simply sit there for a few moments. When it comes to hovering, a fighter jet that has a high thrust-to-weight ratio can allow it to remain stationary at an angle that is very close to vertical for an extremely extended amount of time. After being in that position for some time, it then begins to descend forward until it reaches a steep dive, which is the transition back to aerodynamic flight configuration. Even though this is a challenging move that calls for post-stall control, it is not entirely restricted to super-maneuverable jets. In the following, we will discuss the flat spin maneuver. A flat spin is a type of aerodynamic state that occurs during flight. This condition occurs when the nose of the aircraft pitches up as a result of tail loading and the plane begins to drop from the sky in a circular motion with no forward speed on the plane. One of the most harmful and potentially hazardous types of spins is the flat spin. When the aircraft is in a flat spin, it does not have any forward airspeed. There is a rotation around its vertical axis that occurs as it descends directly to the ground. Unfortunately, there is no forward airspeed, which means that the flight controls are ineffectual. In practice, the pilot does not have any means of correcting the spin, which renders it completely unrecoverable. In the following, we will discuss Kers Bell maneuver. Kers Bell is a variant in which the aircraft moves forward in a manner that is practically vertical, while simultaneously braking and following the movement of its tail. In the year 1988, a Soviet test pilot named Anatoly Fokker was the first person to fly the Bell tailslide in a MiG-29. This accomplishment took place at the Farnborough Air Show. This aerobatic move is a fantastic example of the word bell, since the plane resembles the pendulum motion of a bell in the sky. Initially, the nose of the airplane rises at a speed of 0, and then it descends in the opposite direction. Following that is the falling leaf maneuver, which is also times referred to as a rudder stall or oscillation stall. A stall maneuver is a move in which an aircraft makes a maneuver that brings about the aircraft spinning. An example of a controlled stall that can be achieved in a fixed-wing aircraft is the falling leaf. To execute the maneuver, the airplane must first be intentionally stalled, and then the rudder must be used thoughtfully to attempt to maintain the aircraft on a consistent path. When the speed of the aircraft decreases, the pilot maintains the plane in the most level position possible in both the longitudinal and lateral locations. Upon reaching the stall speed, the aircraft will experience a loss of lift and will start to descend. As a training maneuver, the falling leaf is frequently utilized. Its purpose is to instruct the pilot on how to maintain control of the aircraft while it is stalling, and it also assists novice pilots in overcoming the dread that develops when an airplane suddenly stalls. The following maneuver is the Herps maneuver, which is also referred to as a J-turn. On April 29, 1993, an X-31 was the first aircraft to successfully execute the Herps maneuver. Dr. Wolfgang Herps, who worked for Messerschmitt Völkow-Blohm, was the one who came up with the idea for the Herps maneuver. This move is essentially a modified version of Pupich's Cobra maneuver. It is necessary for the pilot to roll the aircraft slightly, while it is pointing its nose toward the sky in order to perform the herps maneuver. This is done so that when the nose comes down, the aircraft will be orientated in a different direction. It is generally agreed that the herps maneuver is more helpful in combat, even though it is classified alongside Pugachev's Cobra, which is a popular move at air shows. Pugachev's Cobra, often known as the Cobra maneuver, is the next maneuver on the agenda. One example of super maneuverability is the Cobra maneuver, which is more particularly post-stall maneuvering. A rapid vertical pitch up from level flight without beginning a climb is followed by a forward pitch back to level flight. This maneuver is called the forward pitch. If the move is executed correctly, the plane will continue to fly in a nearly straight line. Neither the plane's roll nor its yaw can be observed in either direction. A substantial amount of engine thrust to maintain virtually constant altitude throughout the entire move, as well as post-stall stability and aerodynamics that allow for recovery to level flight, are required for the maneuver. Additionally, the plane must be able to change the angle of attack fast without overloading the airframe. For example, the Saab 35 Draken, the MiG-21, the Sukhoi Su-27, the Sukhoi Su-57, and the MiG-29 are all examples of fighter jets that have successfully executed this type of maneuver. In conclusion, we have the culbut maneuver, which is also referred to as the Frolov chakra position. In this particular aerial maneuver, which was invented by Russian pilots, the aircraft performs a loop that is exceedingly tight and frequently does not have a width that is significantly greater than the length of the aircraft. Super maneuverability or post-stall maneuvering skills are utilized in this inner loop, which is a departure from the conventional inner loop style. The culbut maneuver is a move that can be used to force an aircraft that is pursuing another aircraft to miss its target by significantly reducing the speed of the aircraft. Although the maneuver is comparable to the well-known Pugachev's Cobra, the culbut can finish the loop that the Cobra breaks off almost immediately. The F-22 Raptor, the Sukhoi Su-57, the Sukhoi Su-35, the Sukhoi Su-30, the Sukhoi Su-37, and the MiG-29 OVT are all examples of fighter jets that have successfully executed this maneuver to date.